Hi guys, today we're going to make a beautiful quail dish. We're going to make a quail ballotine filled with a quail and broad bean farce, a white onion cream, pickled chive flowers and some mashed potatoes. So, let's begin. We're going to start with the quail. I used 3 quails for 6 persons. First remove the wings on the second joint. All the trimmings you can keep for later. Now turn the quails around, give them a little push and start making an incision along the spine. Then just continue cutting down all along the carcass. Once the carcass is completely removed, make an incision on the legs and remove the bones. Then gently pull the legs from the skin. Keep them in your fridge for later. Also gently remove the breasts. Now use the tip of your knife to clean the skin and keep it aside for later. Now for the filling. For the filling we're going to make a farce from the trimmings of the quail. Make sure those are super cold, otherwise there's a big chance that the farce will separate. So I weighed it and all my trimmings weigh 85 grams and I'm just going to transfer them into the blender and blend it till smooth. Then add 30 grams of egg, 3 grams of salt and 20 grams of butter. Blend it for a couple more minutes till smooth and emulsified. Once smooth, add 40 grams of cold cream and then directly stop mixing to prevent it from splitting. Then transfer it into a bowl. Meanwhile, take some broad beans and clean them. Now season some boiling water with salt and blanch the broad beans for 2 minutes. Then directly cool them down in ice water. After that, peel away the thin skin around the beans. Now add half of the broad beans and mix it well. Then transfer the quail breasts on a piece of plastic foil and put another piece of foil on top. Now use a small saucepan to flatten the breast into a sheet. Then take the quail skin and gently lay it on the plastic foil. Make sure that it becomes a nice square. Then remove the top foil from the quail meat and transfer the meat on the skin. Season the top with salt and black pepper. Now lay your filling on top. Then use the foil to cover your farce with the quail and make a nice tight roll. Use the sides to make it even more tighter and then let it rest in your fridge for at least 3 hours. Meanwhile, we're going to begin on the sauce or the glaze. Transfer the quail trimmings on a tray and toast them at 200 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes. Then cut one onion in half and clean it. Now chop it. After that, heat up a saucepan, add a splash of oil and glaze the onions on a medium heat. Then add the toasted bones and glaze it for a couple more minutes. Once that's done, deglaze it with 1.5 liters of a rich chicken stock and reduce it for 80%. After that, pass it through a fine sieve and let it drain well so you don't waste a single drop. Then bring it to a boil and bind it with around 80 grams of butter and season with salt. Now the sauce or glaze is very rich in flavor and it has a bit of a fatty note because of the butter that we use to bind it. I'm going to balance that out with a bit of balsamic vinegar. You can use any vinegar you like, but this is a very rich and a little bit of a sweet one, because it's very old. So I'm just going to use a touch of this, and let's say you're using a normal vinegar, then really use a couple of drops. You just want to balance this out. You don't want it to overpower the beautiful rich sauce, but you just want to bring a little bit of balance. So. Now for the pickled chives. First pick some chive flowers and transfer them into a preserving jar. Then transfer 250 grams of white wine vinegar into a saucepan together with 150 grams of water and 150 grams of sugar. Now take 2 pieces of lemongrass, break them and then tie a knot with them. Also add it to the saucepan and then bring it to a boil. Now pour it on the chive flowers. Then cover the preserving jar and let it cool down completely upside down. Now for the white onion cream. First cut 1 kilogram of sweet white onions in half and remove the skin. Then chop them. Now pour a splash of oil in a big frying pan and add the chopped onions and a large amount of salt. Start glazing it on a low heat till completely soft. This can easily take 2 hours. Once completely soft, add 100 grams of cream and 50 grams of a white wine vinegar and reduce this well. Now transfer it into a blender and then blend it into a smooth cream. Once smooth, add a touch of xanthan powder to prevent it from splitting. Then transfer it into a piping bottle and keep it in your fridge for later. Now for the quail eggs. First submerge them completely with cold water and bring the water to a boil on a medium heat. Once boiling, let them cook for 90 seconds and then directly let them cool down in ice water. Then peel them. After that, cut them in half, season them with salt and then keep them in your fridge for later. Now for the mashed potatoes. First peel 900 grams of a floury potato. Then cut them in half and then in big chunks. Now transfer them into a big pot and cover them with 1 liter of water. Add 10 grams of salt for seasoning and then boil the potatoes on a medium heat. Once cooked, drain them and let them steam dry for 5 minutes. Once that's done, transfer them on a big sieve and press that through using a dough scraper or a ladle. Then transfer it back into the pan. Now pour 80 grams of milk into a saucepan together with 300 grams of butter and bring it to a boil. Then slowly add the butter mixture to the potatoes and fold everything together till completely smooth. Now season with salt. Then we can continue with the quail. First cut some cooking rope in small pieces and lay them on your cutting board. Also lay one big one horizontal. Gently place the quail on the rope and tie the ends together. Do this tight, but not so tight that you press the filling out of the quail. Remove any excess rope and then season the outside with salt. Then heat up a frying pan, add a splash of oil and start frying the ballotine all around till golden. Once golden, add 2 nuts of butter and evenly baste the quail for around 3 minutes. Then pour the hot fat on top and let it rest at 40 degrees Celsius for at least 15 minutes. Meanwhile, chop some chives and then we can start to finish the dish. Start by filling a side dish with a proper amount of the hot mashed potatoes. Then lay 3 halves of the quail eggs on top and sprinkle some chives on there. Cover it and keep it warm in the oven of 40 degrees Celsius. Then take the quail, remove the rope and portion it into the desired thickness. Glaze the top with the hot glaze and put some broad beans on there. Decorate it with the pickled chive flowers. Then pipe a nice dot of the hot onion cream in the middle of a plate and place the ballotine on there. Finish it off with a nice spoon of the glaze and then it's ready to be served. Okay guys, that's it for today. I'm super happy with the result and I had a lot of fun making it. The dish looks amazing and I love to do classic techniques like a ballotine or something else. I'm always a big fan of a classic technique. Yeah, the mashed potatoes are out of this world, super delicious, very fatty, so very fulfilling as well. And in combination with the quail and the onion cream, yeah, that's just, I think it's gonna be very good. And yeah, it's super tender. I don't even need to cut it. I can just press through the meat. So let's start with this one. The quail ballotine with the beautiful and very delicious sauce. It's super delicious. Like I said, the quail is so tender and the farce within the filling, it's super delicious in combination with the beans, and the onion cream just gives it a little bit of a sweet note. You can caramelize the onions, but I think it's gonna be too overpowering. So I think this is a great combination. And then in combination with the little quail eggs, the mashed potatoes and just a touch of the sauce on top.
That's super delicious. So overall, very pleased with the result. The flavor is definitely there. That's really, really delicious. And I think even though it may seem like a little bit of meat, in combination with everything, this is for sure a main course. But if you're a big eater, yeah, just give 2 pieces, give 3 pieces, make a bigger ballotine. If you make a bigger ballotine, like I said in the chicken ballotine video, you do need to cook it for additional, like let's say 10 minutes in the oven. But for now, because it's such a small ballotine and we base it for quite a long time in the pan, that's more than enough. Then it just needs a bit of resting and then it's totally fine. But yeah, really happy. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please let me know in the comments on what you want to see next. Like and share the video and subscribe if you want to support my channel and see more amazing dishes and cooking techniques like this. And as always, bon appetit!